Hello, my name is Don Kerr, and I'm running for village trustee. And I'd like to introduce myself and talk a little bit about why I've made that decision. Firstly, I'm a 17-year resident of New Paltz, New York. I raised a family here. I've got my son behind the camera. I own a business on Main Street and have for almost 20 years. So I understand the perspective and the experiences of business owners. I also have attended many village board meetings and many joint meetings of the town village on consolidation, so I understand the issues, I know the people, the personalities, and I feel like I can make a contribution. Lastly, I've got a track record of service, and I served for a while with Laura Walls on the school board, and I thought she put it very well. Some people express their patriotism by serving in the military. Some people run for office. That's valuable too. That's necessary too. That's how our society works. And I'd like to throw my hat in the ring, and I'd like to be your village trustee. Thank you. I want to be a collaborator. I want to work with people across the village board table and also with the town. And I've got a track record as a collaborator. People may recall a couple years ago a group called the Ad Hoc New Paltz Tax Reform Group, a number of letters to the New Paltz Times that had people working together who may not have been comfortable being in the same room at times. People who have very different views and very different backgrounds. That effort and those letters were signed by Guy Kemp and Butch Denner, Sally Rhodes and Jonathan Wright, and a host of other people who it was just surprising to see them all together. And I led that effort, and I got that together, and we got something done. When ground is broken on South Putt Corners, I think now scheduled for 2015, infrastructure will be laid there that will enable businesses to come to our town and lower the tax burden. That's something that our collaborative group got done, and I have a lot of pride in it. You know, when you look at the village board meetings now, sometimes they're characterized by what seems like interpersonal conflict, and many of the meetings seem to feature bickering that has nothing to do with the work on the agenda. That's something that I can rise above, and I think people have to rise above. If you're going to be elected, you need to, when you sit at that table, put your personal feelings aside and do the work at hand. I'm a collaborator. I've got a track record to prove it. That's my background, and that's what I want to bring to the village board. You know, with all the talk of consolidation, there are opportunities right now for collaboration. If there's an issue with the cost of police services in this community, I think what needs to happen, rather than threats and bullying language, is people sitting down at the table to work it out. I think the town board should be there, or representatives, the village board should be there, the police commission, and perhaps the chief of police should sit down and discuss this. If this is an issue that is a big issue for our community, why are we throwing darts?
The alternative is that we remain separate, we remain as a village and a town. The town will cut its police budget to zero, and that entire expense, or a portion of it, will have to be picked up by village residents.
Why don't we sit down and resolve the issue? Collaboration or no, if the price is too high, let's resolve it. That seems like the common sense sort of approach, which I don't see enough of and which I'd like to help bring. One of the other reasons I'd like to serve as village trustee is to try to bring some data and some facts to decision making. I think the first step is to get the numbers right. So one of the things I'd like to do on the village board is to bring data-driven decision making back into the process. Because when the data is good, the decisions are good too. A larger point was that the consolidation process is bleeding credibility, and I think there have been opportunities that have been missed, and I would just urge you to understand the reality, you know, and understand that this process is in danger. That's my personal political analysis. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
We've had a lot of numbers flying around over the last year. Numbers that haven't always held up. And when the data and the numbers that are delivered to boards and councils and the public are sound, decision making is better and easier. And sometimes the decisions reveal themselves through good numbers. And we've had a lot of numbers that seem to have been driven by opinion and by agendas. We have had numbers that seem to reflect that because of the number of calls at night, that the New Paltz Police Department spends all its time and all its money in the village after 11 o'clock. But that's a misleading number. That's not good data. The good data is the shift schedules. How many more police are put on during nighttime hours? That's the way we can figure this out and make good decisions. We have bad data out there suggesting a reality that is not real. And that's one of the things that I want to do, is to try to bring data-driven decision-making back to the village board. As I mentioned earlier, I own a business in New Paltz. Actually, I own two businesses in New Paltz on Main Street. And my comment on local events as far as businesses is save the cupcakes. Our local businesses, owned by local residents, are the pillar. They're the foundation of our community. At very least, government has an obligation not to make their life hard. I'm talking about requiring business owners to spend thousands and thousands of dollars to relocate to a vacant building that we want filled, that's been vacant on Main Street for over a year. We want that business filled. Anyone ever take a ride out toward Liberty? Go over the mountain and take that road up to Liberty through all the deserted towns in the Catskills where the businesses have left? The businesses are why people want to come here. They're why we want to come here. And at very least, government has an obligation not to get in the way, not to make it hard for business owners to turn a buck.
Do they pay taxes like to the amount of money? Like they pay very little taxes and make a lot of money for the amount of taxes that they pay,
and for the service they
and for the services that they use. So I mean, I do agree with you that they are constituents, or at least their businesses may be within our area. They may not actually be our constituents, but I think that if, and I wanted to stop having comments, but I think that if you're using a large amount of services and everyone else has to pay for it and you're making money off of it, then maybe you should contribute a little bit more because you're benefiting from those more than the rest.
And we need some more balance on that question. So we need a strong voice for business at the table, and that's me. There's something special about the village of New Paltz. We would not have had gay marriages under a consolidated town and village. We would not have many of the special things that make this community special. The people in the town, they feel it too. They love the village too. And if we were to remove what makes the village special, wouldn't the village of New Paltz end up looking like anywhere else? You get off the thruway, and the first part of Main Street, while you're still in the town, it looks like any town USA. You've got a Burger King across from a McDonald's. You've got the strip malls. When you get to the village, something changes. Something is special about this place, and it's why we moved here. And the one thing that should be paramount to the people who serve as village trustees is to make sure that the unique interests, the unique character, what makes this place special remains. And as we look to consolidation and discuss that, I think that's one of the most important things we need to keep in mind. So, to conclude, I seek to serve on the village board to bring collaboration to the process at the village table and at the joint village town meetings, to bring data back to decision making, to make good decisions based on good information, and to have some sense that the businesses in our village need the support of government, or at least to let government get out of the way and stop building walls to their success. Whatever path we take, we need to maintain what is special and what is magical about this village of New Paltz. I get it. I'll protect it. And I want your vote.